Hello, everyone. Welcome to the presentation for ethical leadership and the factors and its consequences. This is a presentation submitted under ITPM 601 Project Leadership, and let's get to the presentation. So, starting with the definition of ethical leadership. Ethical leadership is today practiced by all companies in the current globalization environment. It is the practice of doing what's right. In a corporate setup, it is a practice of leading with integrity, fairness, and accountability when you're um, providing services or when you're receiving services from another entity. So, as I said, is the main focus is doing what's right, even when the situation presents a lot of difficulty. And in order to be ethical, a team must align its leaders, the team members, and the organization around it with moral values. We have to fill the whole setup with the moral values in order to be ethical. It's very easy to be unethical, but it has its own consequences, which we are going to look later in the slides. So, why ethical leadership matters? Ethical leadership builds trust with teams and stakeholders. More importantly, with the stakeholders. If someone is getting services from you, you being ethical is the most important thing that you can do for your customers, and it also encourages a positive and respectful work culture. It drives long-term success and sustainability. When you are ethical, when you as a business operate ethically, people will trust you. Even even if something goes wrong, people will keep trusting you unless it is something that is morally wrong. So being ethical drives long-term business and makes it sustainable. And it also builds reputation. When a business is reputable and the brand is credible, it can be only achieved by being ethical. Many of the corporate companies like Google, Amazon, even though they have some questions around their ethical behaviors, they are still one of the top companies of the world because they are being ethical. And because of the sheer size of the company, there will obviously be questions around the ethical practices because the companies operates at a really large scale. But if you look closely, those companies operate ethically, and that is why they are where they are in today's world. Important factors in ethical leadership. So being ethical, me as a leader, I as a leader consider these are the important factors in of ethical leadership. So the first factor is being ethical, lead by example. I as a leader have to be ethical and have to show my team on the importance of being ethical. Actions speak louder than words. My actions determine the ethicality of the environment that I operate in, and actions are very important than asking someone to be ethical. Um, so, in my actions, I need to set the tone so that my team members can follow. Whenever I make a business decision, I make sure that the decision is on 100% ethical, and my team members are and make my team members aware of it. Also spearhead the organization culture. One great example would be Amazon leadership principles. Amazon has a lot of leadership principles, and in each day's business decision, we consider those leadership principles something like customer obsession, have backbone, disagree, and commit. Is a great leadership principle. We always consider that whenever a couple of team members disagrees, we also know that it is important to disagree to to make the product better and to arrive at the right decision. But we also operate in a way that we earn trust from each other, so we communicate effectively and we remove bias in our the way we work and the way we operate and also in the business decisions. So doing that will shape the values through policies, behaviors, and decision making. It encourages open discussions and increases the integrity of the team. And also, not only me following ethical practices is important. I also need to appreciate my team members when they do it. Recognition breeds, excellence, and recognizing ethical decisions of my teammates is absolutely important, in my opinion. So, talking about the importance of ethical, it won't be complete without talking the consequences, because as I said, it is very easy to be unethical, and but the consequences of being unethical are far too dire for us to stay away from the path of being ethical. So the impact of the we have to keep in mind of the impact of unethical decisions. It can create losses. It can damage the reputation, negative media attention. It can, in sometimes. Being unethical is kind of illegal. Often, one great example would be the malpractices that happens in business, cutting corners for short-term gains instead of going the right way is an example. And it also, as I said, it damages the long-term credibility. A company can be a really big company, operating for like 20 or 30 years or for more than that, but one single unethical decision can garner negative media attention and damage the long-term credibility, so that people um, will stop seeking the services of that company. So I would like to present a case study or an example using a famous athlete from the sports I really follow, which is road cycling, Lance Armstrong. As you may have known, he is one of the best. He's touted as one of the best cyclists in the modern generation. He has so many Tour de France championships on his belt, but in the end, all his victories were deemed incredibles, or deemed not credible, and he was discontinued. His victories were kind of dismissed because of him being unethical. One of the great examples of being unethical and the consequences around it is Lance Armstrong. He lost all his victories. He was one of the best, but everything that came from his victories proved to be unethical, and hence he cannot be considered a greatest athlete at all, despite his efforts. He was a decorated cyclist, stripped of titles for doping. A lot of cyclists during his era were doping, but he is one of the most prominent figures. And even some news articles claim that he was the spearhead of operating unethically, and damaging the reputation of his sport. Years of him deceiving fans, teammates, and sport destroyed the nature credibility of sport. It's slowly coming back, but still the damage is long serving. It is a cautionary tale of fame fueled by unethical choices. If you follow him, you will know that he got it all, but he lost it all using his unethical practices. Um, in conclusion, ethical leadership isn't optional; it is essential, and leaders must spearhead the ethical initiative of the companies and their business decisions. And every ethical decision builds a stronger and more resilient future. But also, every unethical decision has its own dire consequences. And these are